Walking is one of the best things you can do, but don't take my word for it. In this video, we're going to look at 5 powerful benefits of walking and the research behind them. Hi, I'm Dave. It's important for you to know that I'm not a doctor. This video is not intended as specific medical advice for you. I'm not even a licensed personal trainer. Instead, I'm a guy who loves walking. Since 2013, I've averaged about 19,000 steps a day, not because I have to, not because there's research that says I should, but simply because I love it. And to encourage and motivate as many others to begin using walking as a fitness activity, for almost 3 years now, I've done a daily 10-minute podcast, Walking is Fitness. So let's take a walk and talk about the 5 powerful benefits of walking and the research behind them. And I hope you don't mind, every now and then I'm going to look down. I've got a card with some notes. I don't want to get anything wrong here. Benefit number 1 is walking can reduce the risk of an early death. And the research behind this, in August of 2023, this was in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology. And this was interesting because it actually divided the research based on age. If you are under 60, they found that 7,000 to 13,000 steps every day can reduce the risk of an early death by 49%. For those over 60, 6,000 to 10,000 steps a day can reduce the risk of an early death by 42%. Now, maybe you're watching this video and you're curious about walking. You're not walking yet and you're thinking, that's a lot of steps. That's a little too rich for me. Well, they discovered in this research that the benefit, noticeable risk reductions of an early death, actually start at just about 4,000 steps a day. So that's benefit number 1 and the research behind it. Benefit number 2, you can reduce the risk of dementia. And this research was in 2022. The Journal of American Medicine, JAMA Neurology was where it was published. And they discovered in this research that 4,000 steps a day can reduce the risk of dementia by 25%. 10,000 steps a day can reduce the risk of dementia by 50%. And this is something that's specifically meaningful for our family. My wife's father is suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's. So this is something that she's really sensitive to, as am I. And so the steps that we take every day is having an impact in reducing the risk of dementia. And that's a pretty significant benefit. All right, benefit number 3, blood sugar stabilization. This research, 2022, the Journal of Sports Medicine, they discovered that a short walk, and you might be wondering, well, what are we talking about here, a short walk? Actually, as short as 2 minutes. A short walk within 60 to 90 minutes of eating can regulate those glucose spikes. So you're regulating your blood sugar if you can take a short walk within 60 to 90 minutes of eating. And again, this research from 2022, the Journal of Sports Medicine. Benefit number 4, and if you've watched any of these videos before, this is one that I have mentioned several times. I'm going to give you the research behind it this time. Walking can actually make you more creative. And this goes back to 2014, research out of Stanford. And what they're talking about here is divergent thinking. So they're measuring divergent thinking, looking at alternate uses for objects, other solutions. So specifically, here's what the research was. They had a group of people, they divided the people up, those who were sitting and those who were walking. Some were walking in nature, some were walking on a treadmill, and they gave each group 3 objects. And within a certain amount of time, they said, come up with as many uses for these objects as you can. And what they're looking for is divergent thinking. So the way we would talk about it is thinking outside the box. For example, if one of those objects was a key, you could write down, I use a key to unlock a lock. Well, that's inside the box thinking. But they wanted to look at how many outside the box, divergent types of thinking that you could come up with in that specified amount of time. So, and by the way, they threw out any ideas that were not possible. So if someone said, for example, I could use the key to fry an egg, well, you can't really do that. So that didn't count. If you said, for example, I could use the key, I've got a seed, and I want to plant the seed, so I'm going to dig a little hole with the key to put the seed in. Would you actually do that? Probably not. But could you do that? Yes. So that would count. So that was the research, and they found that those who were walking were 60% more creative than those who were sitting. And you might be wondering, because I mentioned that they divided the group up. Some were walking on treadmills, others were walking out in nature, and did that make a difference? It actually did not. It did not make a difference. Those who were walking on treadmills, just as creative as those who were walking out in nature. So that is benefit number 4. Benefit number 5, walking can help you feel better. And the research behind this, 2018, in the Journal of Lancet Psychiatry. Now, before I get to the findings of this research, this is one of those benefits that I think we just intuitively know. I mean, how often have you felt anxiety or stress, maybe anger or frustration, maybe even sadness, and you just went out for a walk because you intuitively know that that's going to help you feel better? So we recognize that. Well, again, this is all research backed. This research that was released in 2018, they found that those who walked, compared to those who were sedentary, didn't walk, those who walked had 43% fewer days of bad mental health. So 5 powerful benefits of walking and the research behind them. You can reduce the risk of an early death. You can reduce the risk of dementia. You can regulate blood sugar, those glucose spikes after eating. You can be more creative. You can feel better. But you have to get up and start walking. And on one level, that sounds really easy. Just go take a walk. I mean, what's so hard about this? The hard part is sticking with it, being consistent, taking that walk day after day, week after week, month after month. And that's where my podcast, Walking is Fitness, comes in, because every day there's a brand new episode. Every episode is 10 minutes long, and I'm not in a studio sitting in a comfortable chair behind a microphone going, "You should get out and walk now." No, I record every episode as I'm out walking. So essentially, we're taking a walk together. And again, the name of the podcast is Walking is Fitness. Let's unlock these 5 incredible benefits of walking and start walking together. All right? Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day.